Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We're in the Starfinder core rulebook today. This is going to be the first video in probably many videos covering feats for Starfinder. And I'm going to break them up the way I do my epic heroes feats book. You're going to get about 15 feats at a time per video. Some of them might have 16 feats in it. It all depends on where I wanted to end the list. The first video here will only have 15. And we are going to go over the following feats. Most of them are in alphabetical order, but I'm following the feat table. So when it branches off for the next feat you could take after that, I'll be reading that feat as part of the video. And so it might be a little bit of flipping through the book. So you got the adaptive fighting. You need to have 3 or more combat feats for it. Amplified glitch. You have to have computers 3 ranks and intimidate 3 ranks. Antagonize. You have to have diplomacy of 5 and intimidate of 5. Barricade. You have to have engineering 1 rank. Basic melee weapon proficiency. Advanced melee weapon proficiency, you need the basic for it. Special weapon proficiency, you need to have either basic melee weapon or small arms proficiency for the special weapon proficiency. So it depends on what category of weapon you're trying to get proficient in. Blind fight, bodyguard. Under bodyguard is the in harm's way, which requires bodyguard. Cleave requires a strength of 13 and base attack bonus of +1. Great cleave requires the cleave feat and a base attack of +4. So you can't take cleave and great cleave as a first level character, which is disappointing from my D&D and Pathfinder backgrounds. I'd take them as fast as I could, and there was no, you had to wait until you had base attack of +4. So that's a little weird to me. Climbing Master, Athletics 5 ranks. Combat Casting, ability to cast 2nd level spells. Connection Inkling, Wisdom of 15, character level 5th, no Mystic levels. So that is all the feats we'll be going over. So let's start going over these feats. Adaptive Fighting. Adaptive Fighting. Prerequisites, the 3 or more combat feats. Benefit. Select 3 combat feats that you do not have, but whose prerequisites you meet. Once per day, as a move action, you can gain the benefit of one of these feats for 1 minute. Each time you gain a level, you can replace one of these 3 selected feats with a different feat that you don't have, but meet the prerequisites for. So another way to look at that is, it gives you 3 feats that you have the prerequisites for, and when you gain the level and you select one of those feats, you can now pick a new feat to fill that slot that you qualify for. So that's pretty cool. And for 1 minute, that's usually 10 combat rounds. So that's like a whole combat. So that's really good. Advanced melee weapon proficiency. You know how to use advanced melee weapons. Proficiency in basic melee weapons. The basic melee weapon proficiency, you know how to use basic melee weapons. You gain proficiency in basic melee weapons. See weapon proficiency on page 243. You get a -4 if you're not proficient. It's the standard penalty for most D20 RPGs. So we got the basic and the advanced. What was the other one? I'm skipping around. So I need amplified glitch, antagonize. So amplified glitch You can create a sudden distraction with technological devices. Prerequisites: computer use 3 ranks, intimidate 3 ranks. Benefit: as a standard action, you can wirelessly introduce a fast-acting virus into a nearby technological device to briefly cause them to malfunction in loud, surprising ways. You can use this ability on 1 target creature per character level, no 2 of which can be more than 30 feet apart. Each target must either be carrying a technological device or be within sight and hearing of such devices. While the location of such devices are up to the GM, most public spaces, aside from technologically underdeveloped areas, contain enough technology for this feat to function. Excuse me. Your glitch causes alarms to go off, automated devices to spin and flail, readouts to flash brightly, and so on. With a successful computer check, DC 15 plus 1 per target, plus 1.5 times the CR of the highest CR target, all targets are shaken for 1 round, plus 1 additional round for every 5 by which your results exceed the DC. Once you have targeted a creature with this feat, that foe is immune to this ability for 24 hours. Then next was antagonize. You know how to make foes extremely angry with you. Prerequisites is diplomacy of 5 ranks, intimidate of 5 ranks. As a standard action, you can antagonize a foe that can see and hear you by attempting a diplomacy or intimidate check, DC 10, plus your opponent's total sense motive skill bonus, or 15 plus 1.5 times the opponent's CR, whichever is higher. If you succeed, the foe is off guard and takes a -2 penalty to all skill checks for 1 round plus 1 additional round for every 5 by which your results exceed the DC, or until it makes an attack against you, forces you to attempt a saving throw, or damages you, whichever comes first. Once you have attempted to antagonize a foe, that foe is immune to this ability for 24 hours. This is a language-dependent ability. Next one is barricade. You are adept at creating quick, temporary cover. Prerequisites: engineering 1 rank. Benefits: as a move action, you can stack and reinforce objects that are too small or too fragile to provide cover into a single square of adjacent cover. The GM has discretion over whether enough such objects are nearby to allow you to use this ability. But most urban and wilderness settings, not specifically described as empty or barren, have enough such material to allow at least 1 such temporary barricade to be built. The barricade grants a partial cover bonus against attacks with line of effect that pass through it. If the barricade is in the square that already granted partial cover, it instead grants normal cover. For more information about cover, see page 253. The barricade is temporary and not particularly durable. When determining its hardness and hit points, treat it as a piece of equipment with an item level equal to half your total ranks in engineering, minimum 1st level. Additionally, once it or a creature adjacent to it is hit by an attack, the barricade collapses at the beginning of your turn in 1d4 rounds, unless the barricade is destroyed completely by the attack. There isn't normally enough material for you to build a second barricade in exactly the same space unless you are in a particularly crowded area, as determined by the Game Master. Okay. So I need to look at special weapon proficiency and then turn back to blind fight. Excuse me. Special weapon proficiency. You know how to use a special weapon. Prerequisite is proficient in basic melee weapons or small arms. Benefit: You gain proficiency in a single special weapon of your choice. See weapon proficiencies on page 243. Excuse me. If the special weapon you choose is a melee special weapon, you must have proficiency in basic melee weapons. If the special weapon you choose is a ranged weapon, you must have proficiency in small arms. If a set of special weapons are all different models of the same weapon, proficiency in one such weapon grants proficiency with all weapons in that set. Special. You can take this feat multiple times. Each time you do, select a different special weapon. Next is blind fight. Blind fight. You are skilled at attacking opponents you can't clearly see. Benefit. In melee, every time you miss because of concealment, you can re-roll your mischance percentile roll one time to see if you actually hit. You aren't flat-footed against melee attacks from creatures you can't see, and you can withdraw from creatures you can't perceive. You don't need to attempt acrobatics check to move at full speed while blinded. Next is bodyguard. You can attempt to ward off attacks that target nearby allies. Benefit. As a reaction, when an adjacent ally is attacked, you can grant that ally +2 circumstance bonus to its AC against that attack. If you do so, you take a -2 penalty on your own armor class until the beginning of your next turn. And then the next feat is in harm's way. So I need to turn to that. In harm's way. You put yourself in dangerous path to save your allies. Prerequisite is bodyguard. Benefit. When your attack hits an ally whose armor class you have increased with When an attack hits an ally whose armor class you have increased with the bodyguard feat, you can intercept the attack. You take all the damage and associated effects from that attack. And once you intercept the attack, no other ability can redirect it. This ability takes no action, but you can intercept only one attack in this way each round. That's pretty cool. Cleave, followed by Great Cleave. Cleave. You can strike 2 adjacent foes with a single swing. Strength of 13 is the prerequisite with a base attack of +1. Benefit. As a standard action, you can make a single melee attack against a foe within reach. If you hit, you deal damage normally and can make an additional melee attack using your full attack bonus against a foe that is adjacent to the first and also within reach. You can make only one additional attack per round with this feat. When you use this feat, you take a -2 penalty to your armor class until your next turn. And then the next one is called Great Cleave. So I need to get over there, right here. Great Cleave. You can strike many adjacent foes with a single blow. Prerequisite, strength of 13, the Cleave feat, and a base attack of +4. If you strike a second target with the Cleave feat, you can spend 1 resolve point to make a melee attack against each subsequent foe that is both adjacent to the last target and within your reach, as long as you hit the previous foe. You can't attack an individual foe more than once during this attack action. But if you hit every time, it essentially gives you the whirlwind where you can attack everybody that's adjacent to you, threatening you. Climbing Master is next. You can climb as well as a monkey or a spider. Prerequisites is athletics of 5 ranks. Benefit, you gain climb speed equal to your land speed. Okay, after that is combat casting. Combat casting. You leave fewer openings when casting a spell. The prerequisites is the ability to cast second level spells. Benefit: you gain a +2 bonus to your armor class and saving throws against attacks of opportunity you provoked by casting a spell and against readied actions triggered by your spellcasting. Connection Inkling. You gain a hint of mystic power. Prerequisites is a wisdom of 15, a character level of 5, and no levels in mystic. Benefit: choose 2 0-level mystic spells and 1 1st-level mystic spell. You can cast the 0-level spells at will and the 1st-level spell once per day for every 3 character levels you have. Your caster level is equal to your character level, and the key ability score for these spells is Wisdom. If you later gain levels in Mystic, you lose the benefit of this feat and can replace it with either Spell Focus or Spell Penetration. So at least it gives you options if you choose to level as Mystic after taking this feat. And that'll be the last feat in this playlist for this video. Let me know what you all think about them. Let me know if this helps you kind of put the game in perspective in your mind. Well, until we all game again, guys.